Okay, so module one is really talking about the core competencies needed for recruiting, right? So it goes over a lot of the basic competencies that are needed. These are from basically a collection of the industry standards as well as my experience in the industry. The biggest thing I think is the most important, or the most important competency, is really drive and energy, flexibility and resilience, and really just the passion and motivation to do this job, right? And if you ask a lot of the agencies that are looking for people that are coming in with little or no experience, that's also what they say. So, this first module is really covering those main points and understanding the core competencies needed in recruiting. So watch through and see you on the other side. Okay, so let's dive into the core competencies in recruiting module one. Okay, so these are just general competencies that have been collected from a number of different sources, but in general, it's categorized with these three main components that are needed as the core competencies to be an effective recruiter in the recruitment sector. So first, let's look at recruiting skills. We're looking at, when we're talking about recruiting skills, we're looking at the core components for assessing, profiling and planning, sourcing and contacting, and presenting and closing. In relation to assessing this component, you're really looking at the ability to evaluate a candidate's skills and qualifications fit for a particular job, right? You need to take a look at their, kind of a bird's eye view, and then more granular into their skills and their work experience related to the particular job that you're looking to consider them for. Second part is profiling and planning. This is the ability to identify the key competencies and behaviors and personality traits required for a particular role. And this is more in relation to being able to create a job description from zero, right? So if you're an internal recruiter and you're creating a new position, this would be the ability to create the job based on what is needed for the particular job. If you are an agency recruiter, this is more in terms of the ability to create a job description based on your conversation with the client or the company that you're working with. A lot of times you're not going to be given a job description, or you'll just be given components of a job description, or in many cases, the job description that companies give you is not that good, and it's not really enticing for a particular candidate to really get the grasp of the position. So this competency is talking about this ability to, kind of manage that component of the job. The sourcing and contacting, this is essentially looking at the ability to identify a good candidate that you're looking at for a particular role, and being able to contact them initially, right? Either as a cold call or an initial scout mail. From basically just looking at their skills and creating a scout mail or a phone call to pitch them on the initial contact from you. Presenting and closing, again, this is kind of following up on the sourcing and contacting component. But if you are an internal recruiter, basically the ability to, after you've identified somebody, to actually reach out to them for a scout mail or something like that, and then the ability to close them on this particular position. Like, are you going to take them all the way through? Are you going to introduce them to the hiring managers and those kind of things? So the ability, as an internal recruiter, to actually present and close your pitch about the company and the position. If you're an agency recruiter, it could be the same thing with the candidate, but this could also apply to working with a client and getting a client to be interested in using your recruitment services, or as you using you as a recruiter itself. Performance traits, we're going to dive into drive and energy, which I'll talk more about on another slide. Inquisitiveness, relationship acumen, flexibility and resilience, and passion and motivation. So for drive and energy, I'll just briefly mention this, and I'll just read it through because I'm going to highlight this on the next slide. But this is the ability to be really motivated and self-disciplined and proactive in getting into this industry and getting into this job, because it does take a lot of energy to actually do this job on a day-to-day basis and a week-by-week basis. Inquisitiveness, again, this is really key because you should be genuinely curious about people. Our job is people, and you have to be interested in what people are doing and why they're doing the things they're doing, and look at their motivators and things like that. Also looking at companies as well. If you're going to be an agency recruiter, the ability to be curious about what's going on in that company and why it might be good to work with that company in order to sell that to your candidates that you're going to be working with. So just a general, curiosity for the industries and people that you're going to be working with. Next in line is relationship acumen. So the ability to maintain strong relationships with clients, candidates, as well as your coworkers, and, being able to deliver their expectations. Flexibility and resilience, again, super important in recruiting. This is not for the faint of heart, this type of job and industry. It is very frustrating. It is very demotivating, which we'll go on to the next point on staying motivated and well. But you have to be flexible and you have to be resilient to changes. And there are just so many things that can go wrong and will go wrong in the process. And you have to be able to adapt to that and kind of pivot onto getting to the main goal, which is closing candidates or clients on your candidates. So, the ability to be adaptable and thinking on your toes, and just getting to the end goal, which is making that placement or bringing that person on board. Passion Motivation, again, this is kind of synonymous with all the other points that we've mentioned. You actually have to have a genuine interest in doing this job, right? There are going to be days or weeks or years where it's just going to beat you down. And if you're not motivated and passionate about doing this, then it's going to be a tough road ahead, right? So, staying positive and staying motivated is key in this job. And again, following up a little more on the drive and energy and the passion and motivation, super important. This is a screenshot of a poll we did a few months ago, based on, this is basically reaching out to agency recruiters or agencies that are looking to hire people as consultants in their agencies. And what was the biggest factor when in the first interview with people with no experience, right? And motivation, attitude, and energy, obviously it's over 70%. This is huge, right? It trumps basically anything that you've done, the school that you went to, even your personality. Even though I do think personality and culture fit is important in agencies, motivation, attitude, and energy are the things that are going to get you a job if you want to work in recruiting on the agency side, at least, but also as an internal recruiter as well, right? So a lot of times you need experience, similar work experience to work as an internal recruiter, but motivation, attitude, and energy are going to be key, whether you're looking to be an internal recruiter or an agency recruiter. Okay, so let's dive into search and business skills. Market intelligence, business acumen, organizational management, and relationship management. So again, market intelligence, one of the key components of this job, and I think probably the most important aspect of our job, is the ability to get information from candidates, from clients, and kind of assess the situation and make the best choices, right? So without information, we can't really do our job effectively, right? So this component is basically talking about the ability to gather and analyze information and to take that information and use it for your advantage in this market. It's super competitive, right? So the more information you have on people and companies and the situation, the more effective of a recruiter you're going to be. Business acumen, again, this just takes time, and it just takes practice to learn about different things. We do focus on the knowledge and a bit of a background in this course later, if you do want to take other components of this course. But yeah, just understanding the knowledge, the industry, the people and the players in the industry, the jobs, what clicks in industries and those kind of things. It's super important within your sector, right? Some people will probably specialize in a particular industry. So the more knowledge and information that you have about that particular industry, and the more business acumen you have, and the more people that you meet, you gain that knowledge, right? So the ability to collect and learn this knowledge is huge, and that's what this is talking about. Organizational management, there are just so many components in the recruitment process. So this point is talking about the ability to organize and manage and maintain all of the things that need to be done in the recruiting process. We will go into the recruitment process in length and in detail in one of the components in this course. So if you do have interest to dive into this course, we'll definitely, you'll learn more about the organizational management side in the recruitment process in that one. Relationship management, again, this is going back to people. Our business, being a recruiter is dealing with people, right? So the better relationships and the more credibility that you have with your candidates and with your clients, as well as your colleagues, is going to help you in this job a lot, right? So building those strong relationships is going to be a key component and a competency for recruiting. Okay, so thanks for watching this module. Please take a look at some of the other modules that we have, or do the full course if you feel interested. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content from Coffee for Closers and MotionWorks.